cowboy has always been a dying breed, but he takes his dying slowly, perched upon his steed. The prairie is his prison, his church, his wife. If you take away his sky, he'll take away his life. But where does he go when the range is all closed? Does he retire to his bunkhouse in depressed repose? No, he climbs back in the saddle, if just to bide his time. For the cowboy knows a good death is hard to find. The Western. The Wild West has always been a time period that's idolized in popular culture. Though the popularity's ebbed and flowed, it has remained an ever-constant theme that still influences movies and TV shows. So what makes a Western? Every category that separates films is based on the contents. Drama, action, romance. They all give you an insight into what the movie contains. Western is a much broader category. It really doesn't tell you anything about the content of the film. If you dive a little deeper, though, you can find a subcategory of Western that covers nearly every other type of film. Western classics like Shane, True Grit, Western action like Django, Western crime like the recent Killers of the Flower Moon. There's Western horror like Bone Tomahawk, Western sci-fi and then Cowboys and Aliens. But we don't have to talk about that. Point is, within any genre of movie, there are types that combine genres, like the rom-com or the action thriller. But I don't believe that any other category can embody so many other types. It speaks to the malleable nature of the Western. Growing up, I could always tell. If I looked at the TV and saw John Wayne or Clint Eastwood, Matt Dillon, then I knew. There'd be horses and hats, rifles and revolvers, old west towns with saloons and stables. They were easy to spot. But I still remember the first time I saw it. No Country for Old Men. With no context of the incredible Cormac McCarthy novel or an appreciation for any of the subtext of the film, I watched this movie with my father. Mom was out of town, so per tradition, Dad and I watched a rated R movie. It came out in 2007, so I had to be younger than 10. And this movie was way too violent for my child brain to wrap around, but we watched it anyway. I remember Josh Brolin and his hat, hunting in the mountains. I remember Woody Harrelson and his really clean-looking felt hat. Tommy Lee Jones saddles a horse at one point. There were plenty of signs that this was a Western, but it just didn't feel right. See, the good guy's on the run the whole time. There's a lot of automatic weapons, vehicles, but I think what I really took away from it was the ending. The good guys don't win. Josh Brolin's character gets killed. We don't even see it happen. Tommy Lee doesn't catch Shigur. I felt unsatisfied. Now, obviously these themes weren't revolutionary at the time. My young mind was just behind the curve, but it stuck with me. The film looked like a Western, but it didn't seem like a Western. This was the first time I remember questioning what a Western was. So what makes a film a Western? Is it the setting? Could be. The time period and location. Any movie set in America, late 1700s, 1800s, would have to be a Western. Any further back, you get your revolutionary frontiersman era. Further ahead, you get the industrialization of the world, with cities and factories popping up, widely regarded as the death of the West. And while that's easy to define, no country was modern day. Movies like Hell or High Water, the show Yellowstone, they're definitely Westerns, so the setting may be important, but it may not be essential. An indicator, but not essential. So it could be the themes. A lot of loneliness and violence, a desire to be free, a weariness of civilization, a definite emphasis on the lone wolf, a character that can turn away from it all and ride into the sunset, independent and self-sufficient. Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe it's the characters that make a Western, their motivations and convictions. Well, if that's the case, then what truly makes a movie a Western, especially an excellent one, is the cowboy. Like pirates and Vikings, the cowboy has always been idolized. An embodiment of the American West, the fastest gun in town. But that dives us into further questions. What makes a cowboy? The outfit, the hat, the profession, sure. But what is a cowboy at his core? The hero, the good guy, the sheriff, the rancher. The cowboy embodies a code. Don't fight. But if you have to fight, win. Protect the innocent. Defend your home. Draw second, but shoot first. The cowboy is what we all aspire to be, one way or another. But as we all know, a hero is only as good as his villain. The outlaw, Jesse James, Billy the Kid, Liberty Valance, whoever Bruce Dern's character was in The Cowboys. God, I can't believe he killed John Wayne. The outlaw is the yang to the cowboy's yin. What's funny in Westerns is that we so often root for the outlaw. He's hardly the villain to the viewer. The ability for Westerns to switch back and forth. One movie you're following Wyatt Earp, watching his badge and gun face down any criminal in his way, and we side with the law. And just the next film is Butch Cassidy. Train robbers running from the law the entirety of the movie. The ending is a freeze frame before the federales gun them down. The movie doesn't even show us these criminals getting what is certainly deserved. The movie spares us of it because it knows we see these thieves as heroes. We side with the outlaw. It's almost as if the line of legality is irrelevant. What makes a cowboy, nay, what makes a Western, is if the protagonist is committed to justice, not for the nature of a profession, but for the right reasons. The outlaw Josie Wales hunts down U.S. soldiers in the Civil War. He joins the South to fight the Union. Does he believe in the causes of the Confederate States? Unlikely. He doesn't even own slaves. But a band of Union soldiers killed his family. He joins the Graycoats for one reason and one reason alone: revenge. The hero of any Western is one that embodies righteousness, even self-righteousness. The right motives, even if the means are a bit unfortunate. So we've defined the characteristics of a Western, but how do we spot them? Is it just a feeling? Does it have to be cowboys or just someone that embodies the cowboy? If the setting doesn't give it away, then how do we analyze the film and properly categorize it? Especially these newer contemporary Westerns. Taylor Sheridan's making a good go of it, but even all of his stuff isn't Western. Check out Mayor of Kingstown when you get the chance. So I guess the conclusion is vibes. There will always be films where it's easy to spot. The new Kevin Costner one, whatever Sheridan's doing with the ever-expanding Yellowstone universe, but it's the others that make it interesting. Justified, Longmire, Wind River, the ones that catch you in the middle thinking, man, is this a Western? I don't know if I have the answer. Maybe the true Western is the friends we made along the way. That's probably the gunfights.